Coming up on News 11, New York State could possibly be putting an end to Regents exams, a deadly shark attack in Maui, and a look at Quincy Jones' legacy. These stories and more, News 11 starts right now.
Good evening and welcome back to News 11. I'm Julia Skiba.
And I'm Katie Clary.
We have a lot of exciting stories to cover today, so let's get started with your local news. Fredonia art teachers Mackenzie Sheldon and Brandy Nudie have created an art vending machine for the Fredonia community, inspired by a free art vending machine at the National Council on Education for Ceramic Arts Conference. Over the past 2 months, teachers, students, and local artists have created various pieces, including beaded bracelets, polymer clay creations, polymer clay dragon eyes, and clay pins. A variety of artwork has been donated so far, including from the local Mudslingers Ceramic Studio in Fredonia. The studio created 250 pieces of art for the project, while Fredonia employee Cindy Wistep donated hand-wrapped beach glass pennants. The machine, which resembles a gumball machine, is currently located inside the Next Chapter bookstore in Fredonia. Community members can free spin the machine to receive a piece of handmade artwork. Other locations, such as one on the SUNY Fredonia campus, are in the works to host the project as well.
SUNY Fredonia's Tower archives hold a lot of the school's and town's history. Innie and Zinna went to take a closer look. To take a close look into the archives,
tucked away in the back of Reed Library are fragments of history. The SUNY Fredonia archives and special collections are a treasure trove of artifacts.
We have over 165 collections, so I like to really market it as there's something for everybody.
Within those collections, you can find rare books, old Fredonia merch, instruments, or even art prints.
Many students walk by the Tower archives not knowing the history that it holds.
However, some students are starting to get curious.
I really wanted to learn more about the history of Fredonia and the history of the school that I love.
I am happy that students are getting more of an awareness of it. Like the amount of students that kind of reach out and like, hey, can I have an appointment?
No matter what you're looking for or what you're passionate about, the Tower Archives has something for you. I'm Izzy and Zinna reporting from Fredonia with News 11.
to take a close look into the archives and special collections, head to fredonia.libguides.com/special collections.
Fredonia High School has delayed implementing phone pouches, and for good reason. Both Fredonia and Dunkirk schools have made plans to use phone pouches to keep your digital device locked away during the day. Dunkirk implemented their plan on September 16th, but Fredonia High School held off. A recent survey at the school showed that 80% of students agreed it would result in a negative impact. Students might not need the pouches, as Principal Darren Pash stated that the student body has, quote, strong compliance, end quote, with the current rules. And it's not just students. Teachers, too, have reported good results as of now. Principal Pash later said, quote, I couldn't have asked for a better response, end quote.
Monday morning at 8 a.m., a Thruway worker was struck by a motor vehicle near the exit 58 of Silver Creek in Irving. County EMS, Irving Fire Department, and Silver Creek Fire Department and law enforcement responded, and a coroner was also called to the scene. By 8:15 a.m., the Thruway lines between exit 57 and 58 were blocked, and later those westbound lines were closed from the Hanford exit to the Silver Creek exit. Those lanes have since reopened, but the New York State Police Collision Reconstruction Unit Bureau of Criminal Investigation and the New York State Thruway Authority have since been investigating the accident. Governor Kathy Hochul said in a statement Monday afternoon, quote, roadside works risk their lives every day to ensure the safety of all drivers on the road, and they deserve our utmost attention at all times. This is the second involving a Thruway maintenance worker this year, and it's a serious reminder to slow down, safety move over. and be alert for all vehicles stopped on the side of the road, end quote. As the investigation continues, more information will be released.
In a small town, students tend to flock to one tattoo shop. Izzy and Zinna went to Dunkirk to check it out.
Tattoo can seem pretty scary, especially when you're scheduling an appointment months in advance. Award-winning tattoo shop Tattoos now offers 2 days a week where anyone can walk in and get a tattoo on the spot.
I like it mainly because like you just have completely different people coming in each time, and you get to just learn a bit more about them, and they always have completely different ideas, compared to like the person you just tattooed. So that's pretty cool.
The walk-in artists express their excitement with trying out any design you bring in.
If you're not as impulsive as me, you can always take their number and call the shop.
Outside of tattoos and piercings, Tattoos holds events in the shop and around town.
Doing events, it was kind of just for fun at first, but we always had multiple things going on. It's always been fun. We've had mosh pits in the shop. Not here, at the other location we did.
I'm Izzy and Zinna, reporting from Dunkirk with News 11.
To schedule your appointment, you can call the shop Tuesday through Saturday from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. at 716-366-2706.
Buffalo's Snow Angel program is asking for more volunteers this winter. The Snow Angels program is a group of volunteers that help shovel sidewalks and walkways for neighbors during the colder months. The program pairs up volunteers in the neighborhood with people that need extra help shoveling. Susan Uden, Parkside Community Association secretary, said, quote, "People want to stay in their homes as they age or when they have physical problems, and this is one of those things that really makes it possible for folks to do that," end quote. The Snow Angels clear the sidewalk, a path to residents' front door, and even their front steps and porch. Along with volunteers, the program is also looking for someone to take over as the volunteer coordinator for next winter. This individual would spend the winter shadowing the current coordinator. If anyone is interested in volunteering, the coordinator position is starting a Snow Angels program where they live. Individuals should contact the group via email at admin@parksidebuffalo.org or call 716-838-1240.
The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation seized a squirrel and a raccoon from a man in Pine City. The social media star squirrel named Peanut was orphaned and taken in by Mark Longo at his home, an animal sanctuary. The state agency has received reports that the animals were being kept illegally and unsafely, resulting in their confiscation and euthanization. Longo said that officials would be hearing from him soon as he plans to take legal action. State law requires people to have a license to own a wild animal, which Longo did not have for Peanut or his raccoon. The animals had to be euthanized to test for rabies after Peanut, but someone involved in the investigation. Longo claims he did not see Peanut by anyone during the heavy-handed search of his home. Thousands of viewers online are grieving the deaths of these animals.
High school students soon may not be required to take the New York State Regents exam. Recently, the State Board of Regents met to discuss how tests would begin a phase-out process. This would mean an end to the Regents exams as graduation requirement. Changes would be set into motion in 2027. Those entering high school in fall of 2027 would no longer need to pass a Regents to graduate. Teachers around New York have been weighing in on the topic. Michelle Light, a Williamsville teacher, said, quote, "This will allow teachers and students to focus on what's really important," end quote. However, it was made clear that students will still need to show proficiency to graduate, as some board members are concerned about how to customize education for tens of thousands of students. While the Board of Regents must still approve the phases, teachers and board members will continue to discuss the topic. And when we return, we will have your national stories. We'll be right back.
To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love, so you can take me with you wherever you go. near or far. These stitches and threads join us together. Me, your mother, and both of you. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
As of early this morning, Donald Trump is projected to be the next president of the United States, defeating his running opponent, Kamala Harris. His victory can be accredited to Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Wisconsin, who are all states he reclaimed after losing them in 2020. He remained in a close race with Harris for states like Michigan, Arizona, and Nevada. Trump's return to the White House means that now both the presidency and the Senate will be under the same political margin. The control of the House is still hung in the balance as of this morning. Trump's campaign was founded on strong promises to cut a suite of taxes, raise tariffs, and stop illegal immigration. Trump currently leads the electoral votes with 291, while Harris only has 223 votes.
The 17-year-old suspect of a Halloween shooting on Friday morning that killed 2 people and injured 6 others was announced on Monday to be charged as an adult. The incident happened just after 1 a.m. on Friday when shots were fired and people began to flee. Just moments later, shots were fired at a second location at a block away, and the suspect was taken into custody at Washington and Orange, as well as a handgun being recovered at the scene. State Attorney Andrew Bain said in a news conference on Monday, quote, "To shoot into a massive crowd like that shows a true disregard for life, and the only recourse is to charge this defendant as an adult, because it fits the egregious nature of the crime," end quote. The suspect named Jalen Dwayne Edgar has 2 counts of second-degree murder filed against him, with more charges expected, and a grand jury could also elevate these charges for Edgar to first-degree murder. There was about 100 officers working in the area that Edgar opened fire into. This allowed the officers to have a quick response to the shooting. Police Chief Eric Smith said on the shooter, quote, "Whatever his mindset was, he was going to shoot no matter what. He walked by multiple officers. He didn't really care," end quote. Authorities and police are confident that the shooter acted alone, and they are still investigating whether the victims were random or known to the suspect. 2 victims were admitted to Orlando Regional Medical Center in critical condition and were listed stable after Friday morning. A 26-year-old woman was hospitalized after being trampled by people fleeing, and the 10th victim was in stable condition after taking herself to the hospital Friday morning. According to the Orlando police, the shooting marks the 27th mass shooting in Florida this year and the more than the 400th nationwide. In previous years, people were able to screen for weapons during downtown Halloween celebrations, but this was not possible as the 2023 state law has not allowed most people to carry a concealed weapon without a permit. The police and downtown businesses are looking into what resources they can add to make downtown more secure throughout the weekend and potentially only having one point of entry during weekends and special events.
A $1 million scheme has left Texas schools full of unqualified teachers. More than 200 people paid to have someone else take the state certification exam that is required to become a teacher. The scheme's ringleaders, Vincent Grayson and Nicholas Newton, were arrested just this past week. Grayson served as the head coach for Booker T. Washington High School's basketball team, and Newton served as the school's assistant principal. State education officials are attempting to track down the falsely certified teachers, but it has been proving more difficult than anticipated. We can only hope for the sake of Texan students that these falsified teachers are found and removed from their schools soon.
Last Friday, a call was made to Waihu Beach Park in Maui when a surfer swam back to the shore after being attacked by a shark. The 61-year-old surfer in Hawaii made the swim after being bit by a shark, which severed his leg below the knee. A witness, David Baskus, said, quote, "He swam himself back, maybe more than half the way, and then I seen somebody jump in." He told officers. Maui police, fire, and medical arrived on the scene, where shortly after the surfer was taken to Maui Memorial Medical Center and placed in critical condition until Saturday evening. The Waihu Beach Park has since closed, and beachgoers were advised to stay out of the water until further notice.
NASA's Voyager 1 spacecraft has been exploring interstellar space since 1977, has experienced a communication stall due to a technical issue. The spacecraft, which has been in orbit since 1977, has been using a radio transmitter it hasn't used since 1981 to contact its home base. The Deep Space Network engineers have been turning off components to conserve power and send data from the solar system's depths. The aging spacecraft has been plagued by communication issues, but the team is finding innovative solutions. The S-band transmitter, which hasn't been used since 1981, will continue to be used as the primary transmitter until the X-band is restored. Bruce Wagner, the Voyager mission assurance manager, said, quote, "The S-band signal is too weak to use long-term. So far, the team has not been able to use it to get information about the health and status of the spacecraft, let alone science data. But it allows us to send commands at least and make sure the spacecraft is still pointed at Earth," end quote.
Consumers have been complaining about Chipotle on their increasingly inconsistent portion sizes. Chipotle CEO Scott Boatwright has been making an effort to fight these claims to ensure customers are happy with their food. He put a plan into effect that employees must increase their ingredient usage. On Tuesday, during an earnings call, he stated that the past quarter for Chipotle has had, quote, "higher usages of ingredients," end quote. Boatwright and the Chipotle team are ensuring that employees are making consistent and generous portions and hope to have satisfied consumer complaints. And when we return, Matt joins us for the first time with our sports update, and we'll have Jenna for your first look at weather. We'll be right back.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
We've been down there. You gotta do the same. Post office. All you do is sign. So don't get nervous. Sign your name. For Selective Service. It takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. For Selective Service.
Hey guys, if you're about to turn 18, you gotta register with Selective Service. It's simple. Just go down to the post office, fill out a card, and turn it in. That's all there is to it. There's no draft now. You're just adding your name to Selective Service's list in case there's a national emergency.
So if you're 18 now, Selective Service, you gotta get down to the post office.
Register with Selective Service. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law.
Takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. Selective Service.
We're now joined by Matt, who will be giving us our weekly sports update. What's going on in sports, Matt?
Thanks, Jules. Fredonia's women's soccer team was in New Paltz this afternoon for the semifinal of the SUNYAC tournament. New Paltz jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the first half and did not look back, hanging on for the 4-0 win over the Blue Devils. Fredonia was outshot 23-1 in this game. The Blue Devils season ends with a 12-8 record, their most wins in a season since 2012. In other sports, Blue Devils basketball is back this weekend. The men's team begins their season Friday night in Amherst against the Division I University at Buffalo. The women's team has a tournament in Worcester, Ohio, starting with a matchup against Thiel College at 5:30 p.m. on Friday. They also have an afternoon matchup with Carlow University at 2 p.m. on Saturday. The women's team also begins their first season with a new head coach at the helm. Sherry Nowatzki, a former Blue Devil herself, has returned to coach the team following the departure of former head coach Sarah Cartmill. In other Fredonia sports, the men's and women's cross-country teams competed in the Sudiac Championships last weekend. The men's team finished 3rd out of 10 teams, while the women's team finished in 6th place. 2 runners on the men's team, Stephen Hallberg and Sembel Koshi, were named First Team All-Suniac. The women's team also had 2 award winners. Kelly Hudson was named 3rd Team All-Suniac, and senior runner Holly Rohrbach achieved the highest GPA of any female runner in the event. Now on to pro sports. The Sabres are back in the win column after a convincing win over the Ottawa Senators on Tuesday night. Buffalo was back on home ice after a 3-game losing streak, and their return to KeyBank Center seemed to spark the power play as J.J. Peterka scored twice on the man advantage. Bowen Byram also added 2 goals in the Sabres' 5-1 victory. Next on Buffalo's schedule is a trip to Madison Square Garden to face the New York Rangers tomorrow night. After that, they're back at home for a 3-game homestand, starting with a matchup against the Calgary Flames at 1 p.m. on Saturday. Finally, the Bills have brought back 2 former players to help out their defensive line. The team announced this week that Quentin Jefferson and Jordan Phillips are both rejoining the team for another stint in Buffalo. Jefferson played 1 season for the Bills in 2020, while Phillips is beginning his 3rd stint with the team. Phillips previously played for Buffalo from 2018 to 2019, and then again from 2022 to 2023. Both players may be available to suit up for the Bills' matchup with the Indianapolis Colts at 1 p.m. on Sunday. And Jules, that's a big game for the Bills. Is not only this game, as the Colts, a team Buffalo should theoretically beat, but 2 weeks from Sunday, a week from next Sunday, Bills-Chiefs in Buffalo.
Is that the one you're going to?
I'm
going to one of them.
No, I'm going to the Sabres game in Buffalo on Saturday. I wish I was going to the Bills-Chiefs game, but I can't afford those tickets. Maybe Taylor Swift can. She might be at the game. She was at the playoff game last year.
Wait, so you're going to the Sabres game?
Yes, that's right. I will be there on Saturday at 1 when they play Calgary, yes.
And they're going to be Buffalo?
Yes, it'll be in Buffalo, and they're home 3 times next week, starting with that one. They're home on Veterans Day for an afternoon game, too, against Montreal. So fingers crossed, maybe Buffalo can get something going, some positive momentum, and put themselves more towards a playoff spot. Although it's early. It's very early in the season, but you never know.
Well, hopefully they win for you. You get your money's worth on
We'll see. Hopefully.
All right, we are now joined by Jenna for our weather forecast. What do you have for us, Jenna?
Thank you, guys. Today we saw a pretty gloomy day. We had a high of 69, but showers throughout the day. It may have seemed like a pretty stormy day as we had winds of up to 20 miles per hour. We saw those rain clouds continue throughout the day with cloudy skies, but we saw it cool down significantly at night with a low of 51 degrees. As we move on to Thursday, we'll finally see the weather cool down with a high of 58 degrees. We might see some small showers with partly cloudy skies and a 15% chance of rain. It will stay pretty cool at night with a low of 46 as well. We'll see some really good fall weekend weather when I return. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Jenna. And when we return, we are going to have your international headlines. We'll be right back.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers. The sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Every day, millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles, watching each other's backs,
And banding together.
we should still make an effort
We should still make an
to
effort.
get to know each other.
On a deeper level.
Father,
Cosplayer,
Mentor.
actor.
it's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward. Come together.
and discover
How accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
There was a series of volcanic eruptions on a remote island in Indonesia, killing at least 10 people. According to Indonesia's National Disaster Management Agency, Mount Lutapi Laki spewed thick brown ash as high as 6,500 feet. The hot ash hit the buildings and villages, covering them, burning down some, and forcing residents to flee. At least 10,000 people have been affected, and rescuers are still looking for bodies under the debris. The pair of volcanoes also erupted in January of this year, causing 6,500 people to evacuate the surrounding areas. The head of geology agency at the Energy and Mineral Resources Ministry said that there was a blockage of magma at the center, causing this eruption to be so catastrophic and hard to detect beforehand. Luotobi Laki is one of 120 active volcanoes in Indonesia. The region is very prone to eruptions, earthquakes, and other seismic activity due to its location on the Ring of Fire.
The 7-week-long strike for Boeing may be coming to a close soon. For those who do not know, Boeing machinists have been on strike demanding better wages that fit industry standards. Recently, CEO Kelly Ortberg has been cooperating with the workers to make an agreeable contract. The workers have just run a ballot on whether or not to agree to the contract, and the results are shocking. 59% of the workers have agreed to the contract ending the strike. Workers are returning to their workplaces as early as today, but are only required to return by the 12th. The new contract includes a pay increase as well as $12,000 bonus to all union members from the strike. Boeing and its shareholders have lost an estimated $5.5 million as of this September.
OpenAI is now opening a new search engine powered by ChatGPT to rival Google's own AI. For the past 2 years, companies centered on artificial intelligence have shifted from chatbots to professional writers. What originally started as a simple chatbot has evolved into something much larger. Last May, Google added AI-generated summaries when searching online in order to speed up the research process. Despite their best efforts, Google's AI still makes fatal errors that result in misinformation. In response, OpenAI has released their own search engine that specializes in writing for news stories. They have even begun partnering with companies such as the Associated Press and News Corp. This partnership allows OpenAI to use news articles to hopefully improve the new search engine, in return for being able to use the search engine. And after the break, look at Quincy Jones' legacy. HelloFresh debuts a Friends-inspired trifle dish, and Starbucks releases their holiday cup designs. We'll be right back.
I'm Nigel, I'm a friend of John's.
I come back here and the wall is just floating, like right there.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier.
Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Famed singer-songwriter and producer Quincy Jones passed away this past Sunday surrounded by his family. He was 91 and was set to receive an honorary Academy Award later this month over his legendary career. Jones won 28 Grammy Awards and worked with icons like Ray Charles, Frank Sinatra, and Michael Jackson, with hundreds of others in between. Quincy Jones also made his mark as a jazz producer, creating arrangements for albums like Jazz Abroad and Ella and Basie, plus Leslie George's hit, It's My Party. His versatility spanned across genres, from covering Sinatra's Fly Me to the Moon to scoring the classic film In the Heat of the Night. Jones's most famous collaboration was with Michael Jackson on albums like Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad. He also worked with Donna Summer on her album Love Is in Control, which earned a Grammy nomination for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance. Jones's collaborations with stars like Bob Dylan, Tina Turner, Dionne Warwick, and Billy Joel, Stevie Wonder, Willie Nelson, and Bruce Springsteen led to the 1985 hit We Are the World. Quincy Jones's leadership and kindness will remain a timeless model for one of the first music executives for the African American community. His influence will be sure to shape the future of music and culture for years to come.
Rachel Green's infamous Thanksgiving trifle from Friends is now available to the public through HelloFresh's limited edition meal kit. Don't worry though, this recipe actually separates the sweet jam and custard from the layers of savory ingredients for a more enjoyable eating experience. This meal kit was created to celebrate the 30th anniversary for the iconic sitcom. The limited edition meal kit is now available to order online. The kit includes all the ingredients to make a beef shepherd's pie and a classic English trifle, along with the Friends apron, a custom trifle dish, and a step-by-step recipe cards. The trifle kit is fit to serve 6 people and costs $34.99 plus shipping. Orders for the kit can be placed online from November 4th to the 7th, and orders will be accepted on the first-come, first-served basis. Customers can expect the dish to be delivered by the end of the week, November 11th.
Starbucks is once again preparing for, quote, the merriest time of the year, end quote, in coffee shops nationwide as they prepare for the debut of their new holiday cups and seasonal menu. This year's cup designs have 4 iterations for hot cups and 1 for iced beverages, all under the theme of Merrier Together. The color palette involves the classic Starbucks green with pops of jade green and cranberry red. The cups also include a mix of graphic elements to mimic old-fashioned holiday ornaments and peppermints. If you can't wait any longer for the holiday season to begin, don't fret, as Starbucks has also announced that starting tomorrow, November 7th, customers will once again be able to enjoy their seasonal menu with holiday-inspired drinks and treats. I'm excited for that. I didn't know it was coming out so soon.
I'm so excited.
I have to look up what the cups are going to look like. I think it'll be a nice one.
Okay. Now we're going to toss it to Jenna one more time tonight for the end of the weekend weather. How's it look, Jenna?
Thank you, Katie. Friday, we will see a very nice fall day with sunny skies and a high of 59 degrees. We'll continue to see those windy days with winds up to 25 miles per hour, and we'll see a pretty chilly night with a low of 43 degrees. Saturday, we will see another great day with partly cloudy skies and a high of 59 degrees. The wind will finally start to slow down though. We may see some rain at night with a low of 47 and a 30% chance of rain. Sunday, we will start to see it warm up again with a high of 66 degrees. Don't be fooled by the warm weather though, as it will be a pretty stormy day with cloudy skies, winds up to 20 miles per hour, and a 50% chance of rain. That will continue throughout the night as we cool down to 55 degrees and continue to see rain with a 60% chance. That's all I have for you for this week's weather. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Jenna. So that does it for News 11. Thank you to our behind-the-scenes crew. We'll be back next week.
As always, thank you to everyone watching at home, and have a great night.